Hey, welcome into today's live. This is the first live with Women Arise. So welcome into today's live. Welcome in new subscribers to the channel, and actually welcome old subscribers also. And I know that sounds funny, but some of you actually were here many years ago when this channel was something else. And the Lord kind of just spoke to me about how He's been speaking to me about rebirth. And baby, well, that's what's happening here. Welcome to the rebirth of this particular channel. And now this channel is called Woman Arise. It's an extension of a ministry that the Lord has had me developing elsewhere. If you were here in the past, welcome back. Also, go check out Candy Nicole Arise, the other channel. There's lots of content over there. If I've been MIA and you're like, I recognize that face, I recognize that girl, but you look a little different. Yeah, I'm back. All right. So welcome back. So today, you guys, I want to talk more about decentering. I was speaking about decentering in our last video here at Woman Arise, and I was talking about how we should be beginning to decenter romantic relationships, how many of us have pretty much have made as women romantic relationships this whoo type of thing. And what I mean is we've been taught since a very early age, in our very youth ages, about how we should want certain type of relationships, how those relationships should flow, how they should go. We have been taught basically a fairy tale of how things should flow and go. And you all know that life is not showing up like a fairy tale. We have trials, we have tribulations, etc. And people, okay? And we are even people. So the way that it's set up in Cinderella has not exactly been the way that maybe many of us have experienced romantic relationships. And God is wanting us to decenter the way in which we have been taught to enter into romantic relationships, even our expectations in romantic relationships, and putting Him at the center. When we're not chasing after that little ooh feeling, that falling in love type of feeling, and we're chasing after God, is when we actually come into full contact with the kind of love that He wants for us in our life. So if you're coming over from the last channel, you know that one thing that I continue to bring up over and over again is people pleasing, okay? And how it has kept so many of us stuck and bonded into things that we had no business even being in. And so we're going to continue to talk about that over here, because again, it's still something that has kept many of God's daughters and women in bondage. And I actually believe that this message could go for men too today, because people pleasing has also kept many of them also in bondage. So I want to talk with you guys about something that I saw the day before yesterday. I was strolling on Facebook, and this beautiful woman was on one of the reels, okay? And she was crying. It's actually why I stopped, because she was so pretty. She had her face beat to the, to the gods, they say, okay? That's what the world would say. But her face was so pretty. The makeup was standing out. And that in itself would have probably been something that, believe it or not, okay, some of y'all stop because you see something pretty, okay? And she was something pretty, someone beautiful. So it made me stop for a second, and then I was curious about why was she crying so much. So she was crying because she was a content creator, of course, and she was saying she's a Christian content creator, and recently she has kind of pivoted, okay? And normally she comes on and she says prayers, right? And now she's pivoted into, she's adding more comedy sketches inside of her content, and just different things. She's adding different things into her content, right? And a friend of hers made a negative comment to her about a video that she made. And she said to the friend, well, why is it that I've been making all this different content and really putting myself out there, and you said nothing about any of the other content that I've made, but you happen to comment on this particular video, but nothing else? Why is it that I only receive negative from you and nothing positive? And the friend told her, well, I just don't understand what it is that you're doing. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. It doesn't go with the branding. I don't get it. So I've just been quiet about it. All right. She goes on to say how she's so hurt by that because she shows up all the time for other people and she's expecting them to show up and support her in the same ways that she showed up and support these people. And she felt very, very hurt by it. The Candy in me, of course, the new Candy in me was like, girl, why are you worried about them people, right? The new me was like, why are you worried about them people? Because you guys know that I have a thought process of they didn't call me, so they're not going to understand my calling. All right. When God called you guys, he called you guys it was a private meeting when he called you. When the Lord set out and told you what it is that you're going to be doing, he did not include everybody in your family, all your friends, etc., to understand what it is that he is bringing forth in your life. He showed you the blueprint. He gave you the vision. He gave you the dream, right? So it's not for everyone around you to understand. In fact, I honestly believe that as you move forward, there are going to be people who have been very close to you that are going to be very confused about the changes that begin to occur in your life. And it's because they've seen you so long in a certain way. They've had on a certain pair of glasses, and that's the only way that they can see you is those past versions. And luckily, the people that God wants to transition with you into the new things, he will allow their eyesight to transition, okay? And a lot of those people were the people who saw you in the past in those kind of downcast positions, and they were the ones telling you to do better. They were the ones pushing you into the new thing. Those are the ones that you see transition very well with you. It's the ones who was talking to you and telling you, get up. I see more in you. There's so much more in you. Those friends are normally the ones who come and carry you into the new things. But the other ones, sometimes that the lens cannot transition. Okay, they don't have the transitional lenses. They can only see you in one way. All right. So I believe that this young lady that I was seeing yesterday was experiencing that. She was experiencing seeing people in her life not being able to have those transitional lenses to walk with her into the new thing and see her in new lights and new ways. One thing about God, you guys, when he begins to show you who you are, he shows it to you a little bit at a time. And many of us began transitioning a little bit at a time with the Lord into the new thing that he is doing in our life, right? So transition is something that comes with growth. And I want you guys to not be so concerned with the ability of others to keep up with the transition that is God is doing in your life, okay? Sometimes you need to just keep moving and understand who's supposed to be with you. They're going to keep up with you, all right? So don't dim your light in order for others to understand you. Don't continue to explain yourself over and over again. Basically, today's message is understanding that people pleasing is not important, okay? The thing that we should be worried about pleasing is God as we move forward in our calling. We're trying to decenter people, right? So we have to understand that not everyone is going to support or understand our journey. In Galatians 1:10, it's revisiting the idea of serving God rather than seeking human approval. It talks about this more also in Isaiah 8:9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. So I want to emphasize that God's calling on your life does not need human validation. All right. We get stuck in this trap of wanting human approval. So even though your friends and your family have well meaning in their heart, they may not grasp the divine assignment that the Lord has placed on your life. And that is okay. Don't let that stop you because someone is saying, I don't understand what it is that you're doing. Just understand that as you're putting together pieces of a puzzle, Okay, or you haven't told, let's say you haven't told somebody what you're baking, right? But you begin to put the ingredients together. And after it is baked and prepared and put out on the plate, now they have an understanding of what it is that you are doing. But you don't have to sit there through every single thing and make them understand what it is that the Lord has put in your hands to. You just have to put your hands to it. Hi, Walk in Destiny. So I want you guys to understand that the Lord doesn't want us seeking constant approval of the unique plan that He has given to us. He's wanting us to get focused and centered, okay, on His plan and the ideas and the thoughts and the visions that He has given to you, and begin to walk those things out and begin centering Him, okay, pleasing Him, and decentering, pleasing other people. God has our full and our best. He wants the absolute best for you at all, always. Okay. It's true, we are human. Okay. And so in our humanness, there are times where other emotions creep in. And so the same thing is happening with your family and your friends. At times, there are other emotions that creep in. And the emotions that might creep in when people begin to see you move differently, show up differently, is this feeling of losing you. Okay. So a lot of people will feel as if you're stepping, like this new growth that is inside of you is something that is going to take you away from them. And honestly, it may. It may. But if it does, it is for a reason. All right. It's because there's a lot of things possibly in your life that might be pushing you back, and the Lord needs to propel you. So there are times where there are people in your life that will move out of the way as you progress, and be okay with that, and understanding that God will put the right people back in your life. We come over here on this earth to be a blessing to other people, but not to be tied down by them and their thoughts, etc. All right. So the Lord wants us to stand firmly in what it is that He has given to us to do. We don't need other people's permission to follow out the plans that God has for our life. So, the Lord is warning you guys today. I just wanted to come on here and do a quick little live. The Lord is wanting us today to begin to decenter other people's thoughts and their opinions of what it is that He has told us to live out in our life. And I will tell you, unfortunately, also, you people pleasers, it's time for y'all to get a voice, okay? And at first you might speak and your voice might be a little crackly because you're so used to people pleasing. No is a complete sentence, okay? It's okay to say no. For some reason, people want to place Christians in this box of saying that you have to constantly be nice, okay? You have to constantly be nice. I want to tell you to be kind, okay? Be kind. Do not be nice. And this is what I mean by this. Nice people are constantly getting run over. Oh, she's so nice. She's so nice. In a way, that means you're someone that's constantly compromising. You're constantly compromising to make other people feel good. The Lord wants you to show kindness, okay? To show His heart towards people, but at the same time, not at the constant expense of you. Okay, the constant expense of what it is that the Lord has placed you on this earth to do, what He's placed you out to walk out. There are times when you're going to have to say no, and it's going to have to be a complete sentence. There are times when, for instance, in this young lady's situation, where she's saying that her friend had nothing nice to say. Okay, he says he just, I really don't understand what you're doing, so I just chose not to say nothing at all. The candid response would have been, well, this would have been a good time for you to not say nothing at all once again. And I know that that might have hurt, but it was truthful. Because if she says that this man or this person continues to, basically they act like she's not doing nothing from what she was saying. They act like she's not doing a thing. They don't comment on it. They don't say nothing about it. But the minute that they didn't like something that she did, they came and told her all about herself, right? But yet they were ignoring it. Well, continue to ignore my progress. Continue to ignore what it is I'm putting my hands to, and continue not to open up your mouth. And this is what I mean. There's a song that says, sweep around your own front porch before you come and try to sweep around mine. Okay? This young lady was setting out new flowers on her porch. She got a new patio set on her porch. She swept all around her front porch, and she's making it beautiful and following the vision that God has given for her in her life. But her friend can only see that there's a few leaves here in the corner that she needs to sweep up and bring it to her attention. They can only bring the negative things to her attention. So there are people in your life that they ignore all the good things, but the minute that they see something wrong, they run to you and want to tell you about yourself, right? Those are the kind of people that you need to say, hey, look, I didn't ask for your opinion, so you can keep it to yourself. It's okay to stand up for yourself, is what I'm trying to tell you, ladies. For some reason, because we are Christians, people put it in you that it's not okay for you to stand up. It's not okay for you to have a voice. It is okay for you to stand up and have a voice. Go back and read through the word of God. Jesus wasn't just letting people slide. He would just slick with his mouth, okay? He wasn't just letting them slide. He would tell them about themselves in a way that would make them go, what? What exactly did he mean by that? They'd have to go think and ponder on what it is that Jesus said. I'm not telling you to go off on people, but I am telling you to let them know, don't treat you like that anymore. You're not something that they can just run over, all right? So it's time for many of us to begin decentering people pleasing and what others' thoughts of us are. So as we exit out today, thank you, Walk in Destiny. Thank you, Sheree, for joining in our talk today. I want to say a prayer, and I ask Holy Spirit to come and lead this prayer. Today I pray that God, the ladies that are watching this, the ones that watch on the replay, even some of you men who might watch this, I pray that you begin to decenter what others think about the thing that the Lord has told you to put your hands to in this season, the ministry that he has put inside of you. I pray that the voice inside of you begins to speak boldly in this season, that it begins to walk in the full authority in which God has given to you, that you show up authentically, you show up boldly in what he has told you to produce in this season. And I pray that you receive abundant harvest by you stepping out boldly. You see something different this time. And what I mean is that we have planted many harvests in the past, and many of you have reaped similar results. But what I'm praying is that literally, let's say you've been planting peas for the longest, but the Lord is finally giving you some corn. He's showing you something different. He's showing you, behold, I do a new thing, and the new thing I do is inside of you. And let's say the Lord is giving you some corn seeds to go out there and plant. I pray that in this next season that you reap an abundant harvest of this corn, this new thing that he is doing in you, that you will be able to see it abundantly show up in your life, and there will be a rebirth that is inside of you. Behold, he does a new thing, and behold, the new thing that he does is inside of you. Thank you, ladies, for joining in on this live today. I hope that it has blessed you, and possibly it takes you back to the Father's feet and asking him how you have censored other people's opinion in your life concerning what it is that the Lord has placed inside of you. I pray that you begin to walk boldly in your calling and in your kingdom authority. I will talk with you guys soon, and you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Bye, y'all.